Hello everyone, today I'm going to explain LeetCode SQL solution, problem named primary department for each employee. Let's see the problems first together. Employees can belong to multiple departments. So what we have to do, we have to decide which department is their primary department. So if an employee belongs to only one department, their primary column is, you have to keep in mind that it is N. So what we have to find is their primary department. So we can return the result in any order. Let's see the example together and understand the problems together. So first, there is employee table. There is only one table. There is employee ID and there is department ID, which employee are included. And there is primary flag that is there if it is a main primary department or not. And you have to keep in mind that they are, if employee are only one included only one department, their primary column is N, not Y. You have to keep in mind that. So first, let's see the first example. Employee ID 1 has only department ID 1. So that employee is primarily flag is N because they have only one department. So you have to write the query output is here. And I'm gonna change the color. Employee ID 2 is here, and this employee are included in two departments like this, 1 and 2. But that employee's primary flag is department ID 1 because the primary flag on department ID 1 is Y, so you have to write it in here. Of course, department ID is 1. And third one, I think it's also only 1, so it also gonna write it here like this. And lastly, employee ID 4, he is included in department ID 3, 2, 3, 4, but his primary flag is department ID 3, so we have to write employee ID 4 and department ID 3. Yep, so that's the examples of what they're saying. So let's think about how to solve this problem on the solution page. So let's think about together. So how to approach and solve this problem. What I'm gonna do first, I think what you guys easily approach, we can divide it and conquer. We can divide it in two cases. So first case is there is only a unique department. For example, like employee ID 1 and 3, as you can see, they have only one unique department ID. And secondly, there is a not duplicated or multiple departments. So for example, like employee ID 2 and 4. So I think we can divide it in here, and also you can just union all of this one, number 1 and number 2. So if you union all it will combine and you can print the result like this. I think this is the first approach we can do easily, divide in two cases. So also, so I'm gonna use union all to, I'm gonna write it down here. I'm gonna use firstly, I'm gonna erase this. So first problem is divide, and I'm gonna use union all. And second approach and solution I'm gonna show you guys. We can also use in statement. So if employee ID, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna count the employee ID of, so for example, I'm gonna count like this, select, for example, employee ID. I'm gonna write it down all of this, employee, and if you group by employee ID, and I'm gonna just count it. Having count, of course, employee ID, and that are only one. So if you do it, plus if you do a subquery like this, and if you do it on the where clauses is employee ID in here, you're gonna bring the employee ID of here. So we can also solve it using, I'm gonna show you guys specifically on the to write the query together. So, and third way, also we can use a window function. And what window function we're gonna use? We're gonna use count over anything, everything. So like this. So I think it is better to understand by the write the query together on the PC screen. So I'm gonna show you guys all three solutions to solve this problem. So let's write the query together. What I'm gonna do first, we have to think easily about the divide, and I'm gonna use union all to combine it together. So let's divide it first cases. So I'm gonna write it down like this. First way. So first, what we're gonna do, we're gonna find only unique department, and second, we're gonna find multiple department employee. So first, only unique who has employee. I'm gonna write it down more specifically. Employee who has only unique department. So here, I'm gonna write it down. Select from employee table. So yeah, we have to do it like this. If you group by it by employee ID, and let's count it together. So, but what we have to do, if you do union all, we have to print department ID too. So what I'm gonna do, use max function to just write the query to represent the department ID. I'm gonna call it department ID, and I'm gonna count everything. So let's write the query and see what's going to happen. So if you see, there is employee ID and there is a department ID, just the maximum. But because it doesn't matter, because we only gonna get unique departments, so don't worry about this column. And we counted how employee ID, their department is included. So I'm gonna call it, just in cases, just we're gonna do it like this, and we're gonna use having clauses because we only wanna get that count is only 1, and I'm gonna delete this one. So let's see what's going on to happen. So as you can see, only you can bring employee who has only one unique department, like 1 and 3, because we use having clauses on only count is 1. So we solved it the first step in here, and I'm gonna do second step. I'm gonna comment this, and we're gonna find multiple department. It is really easy, don't worry. The first one was much difficult. So from employee, also I'm gonna just bring employee ID and department ID, and we're gonna use where clauses, where primary flag is Y. If you get primary flag is Y, we're gonna only bring, for example, employee ID 2 like this, and also 4 like this. So that is we can get the employee ID of the who has multiple departments. Let's run the code. So if you see it, it only brings employee ID 2 and 4 successfully. So in here, we're gonna just combine it together using union all. And don't forget, you have to have the same column same column, employee ID, department ID, before you do the union. So I'm gonna just use union all. If you do a union all, I'm just gonna do it like this, and also do it like this. Yeah, so let's run the code. Yeah, if you see it, it combined this successfully of employee who has only unique department like 1 and 3, and it also printed employee ID who has multiple department like 2 and 4. So if you, so whole query looks like this. I'm gonna show you guys more clearly. So here, and I'm gonna submit to code. Yeah, it also successfully works. So this is the first way we use divided the cases and combine it together by using union all. So I'm gonna do the second way. I'm gonna show you guys the second way. So second way is we're gonna use in classes. So what I'm gonna do, it's not that hard, so don't worry. From employee, so first it is also easy. You can use just group by as we did before, and we're gonna just do count everything, or you can just count employee ID and 1 employee ID. So if you see the result, you can just bring employee ID who has only 1 unique department ID. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do select from. I'm gonna comment it just for a while, and I'm gonna do select from employee. I'm gonna use where clauses where primary flag is Y, because we can get if employees are included in the multiple department, you can just using where clauses that primary flag is Y, or employee ID in using like this, and I'm gonna bring here that we commented before. So like this, I'm gonna make it more prettier. Yep, and now we can just bring employee ID and department ID. So what is these queries do? They just bring multiple department using primary flag, or also we bring employee ID that has only a unique department using group by and having count. So if you see it, it also worked, and it also printed like this successfully. Congratulations, and I'm gonna submit the code. Yeah, this also works. So this is the second way that we're using in classes. So that was the second one, and I'm gonna show you guys the third way. Third way is we're gonna use window function. Window function. In here, I'm gonna use window function count over, so that we can count everything of the department. So here I'm gonna do it like this. Starts like this. Select from employee, and I'm gonna bring all columns. Department ID, just show you guys more precisely. So in here, I'm gonna do use count over. So in here, it is very important. We're gonna just partition by department ID, and I'm gonna call it depth CNT, for example, because it represents a department count. So let's run the code. So in here, it represents employee ID and the department ID and primary flag, and we count depth CNT here. Depth CNT. I think something is weird. Partition by department ID. I think it is better to partition by employee ID because it's gonna be confused if you use department ID. Sorry for you guys. Yeah, it correctly worked. So if you count over partition by employee ID, it's gonna it's gonna show you employees are included in how many departments. For example, one is department CNT is only one, and two and one, and employee ID 4 is 3. So you can also use window function like this to count everything. So in here, I'm gonna use subquery as subquery. I'm gonna do it like this and make it much prettier. So what column, what we want to get, select from, we're gonna want to get employee ID and department ID, and also we're gonna use where clauses where depth CNT is 1, that is represented only a unique department of an employee ID, and or depth CNT is more than 2, and their primary flag is Y. So if you do it, it represents the only unique department, and this gonna represent multiple department and primary flag Y. So if you run the code, it also successfully showed. So this is the whole query. I'm gonna submit it. Yeah, congratulations, it also succeeded. So I show you guys the third ways. First one was union all, second one was in clauses, and third one was using window functions. So let's organize the key point of this problem and finish this video. So let's move on to the key point section. So let's organize the key point. What for you guys was a little bit difficult when you first meet this problem? For me, as personally, I was a little bit confused how to approach this problem. I just firstly think about it to combine it all together. I mean, how to get employee ID, both that has a primary flag is Y, and also a unique department. So if you think of it, if you wanted to get all together, it makes people feel confused to combine all together. So what we approach first, we divide it in this second, and we just get it a unique department, and we get it a multiple department, and we just combined it using union all. I think this is the first approach we can do as a human. And second one was we using in. So we just using if employee ID. So we just bring primary flag was Y, or we just get employee ID is in, only that is count the employee ID that is only 1. We do it using in clauses. And third one, we just count everything using a window function, and we do it using count everything over. So we do it partition by employee ID. Yeah. So and then we just do it if the count is 1, and we also do it if, so we call it, I'm gonna organize it, so we call it as depth CNT. So what we did, we used where clauses and depth CNT1, or depth CNT is more than 2, and primary flag is Y. So that is the whole 3 ways that we approached together. I think it was the level was easy, but it is very I think this is many features, and that we learned a lot by using just only one problem. I think this is really a good problem. I hope you guys organized the key point well and gonna apply it to other problems too. I think this is the whole key point. Thank you for watching this video.